How I manifested my dream life. Hi, I'm Lucy Griffiths, and I am really passionate about manifesting. I've been doing it for many, many years. Probably about 15 years ago, I was living a very different life, and I would constantly be thinking about, I was living in Beijing, I was working as an international journalist, I was flying off, I was literally called by the office, flying off to conflict zones, war zones, or like floods or natural disasters. And while that life was fascinating and exciting and exhilarating, it was also really draining and exhausting. And by that point, I'd done it for about 10, 15 years, and I was pretty burned out with constantly traveling and just being, I felt like a slave to the beast being the newsroom and the kind of the news agenda. And, you know, every time I try and have a night off, I'd get a phone call about some story and have to go and sort it out. And I just wanted to have a bit more of kind of just a normal life. And I used to dream about, I would dream and think about having a beautiful house on Hampstead Heath in London and having a dog and a baby and a husband. And I just wanted all of those things. And fast forward a few years, that's exactly the life I was living. I was living by Hampstead Heath with my baby and my son. Didn't get the dog because my, well, now ex-husband was allergic to dogs, but we were living that life. And that's the thing, that when you dream about something and you think about it and you focus on it, you can get it. And at the time, we went to look at the house that we lived in, and we were pretty, basically we were trying to build up a portfolio of Airbnb properties as well. So much of our resources was already into various flats in London and in Edinburgh. So we had, you know, lots of different properties, and we were also trying to buy a house for us in London. So our cash was tight, but we went all in and we went for it. And you know, it was funny how the universe just opened up for us, because we didn't think we could afford it, and suddenly this property, which was great and lovely and really light and beautiful, became available. And that is the thing, that actually when you go for it with an opportunity and a thing that you spot, and the world just opens up for you when you have that vision. And so, you know, whatever you have going on in your life, like even now, going through the midst of, I'm going through a messy divorce, and you know, things have been tough. I'm not going to say that points in my life have not been challenging, but what I've always done is held clear to a vision of what I wanted and manifested that vision. And I was thinking, when I was out for a run yesterday, I was thinking, God, I love my life, and I'm so lucky. I, you know, went from living that crazy life, which was fascinating and exciting and all of those things, but it was also really draining and exhausting, to I now live in a beautiful Cotswold cottage, and I'm really happy with my son. I get to walk him to school every day, and then I go for a run myself. And you know, and that wouldn't have been possible. I go for a run and then I sit down and I get to work in a way that I love. I get to create videos and be creative and write and do all the things that I wanted to do without some boss telling me that I can't do this, or, you know, and having to deal with those issues. And so I love having the freedom, both the time freedom, but also that kind of mental freedom of creating what I want to create. Obviously, I need to sell products and services, but they're products and services that I create. I get that creative freedom in what I'm building. And so I get to be passionate about those things that I do. If I'm not interested in something, I don't do it. And so actually, you can too build that life. But it really is about manifesting what you want. What do you want in your life? There's a great quote by T. Harv Eker that says, if you don't know what you want, you don't get what you want. And the reality is that so many people don't know what they want. They don't spend the time manifesting and thinking about what they want, because if you start thinking about it, if you start visualizing and creating that thing that you want, then it's going to become possible, because the brain starts to open up, starts to be receptive and spot those things. The brain is receptive to what we tell it. So if you start saying, oh, I really like those Tesla cars. You're going to see Tesla cars everywhere, and the brain will filter and function to find the things that you have told it that you want. And so when you start saying, I want this kind of life, you are going to open up to possibilities of the kind of life that you want. And life is not just to be lived. That is a kind of, that's a limiting mentality. Life is created. You get to choose how you live your life. You get to choose how you show up. If you don't like your life and you are feeling frustrated and fed up and down and everything else, then it's time to change your life. It's time to say, I want something different. I'm going to make my life different. And so you get to choose how you live your life. And that may be that you decide you're going to physically move somewhere. You might want to go and live on a Mediterranean island. You might decide that actually you're unhappy in your relationship and you want to move or change or do something different or leave the relationship. All of those things are challenging and difficult, but on the other side of it is the possibility of happiness, the possibility of a really fulfilling, beautiful life that you create. Not that life just comes at you and you just go with it and, oh yes, that's my life. I went to school in this town and I live in this town and now I just work in this town. You get to choose how you live. And if your life feels small or boxed in or just not what you envisaged for yourself when you were younger, then it's time to think differently. A great exercise I really love is looking at old childhood photos of, me and remembering the kind of person that I was and remembering what I loved. And one thing that I really get in touch with is, when I was young, the things that I loved was I loved creating little books. I loved writing and doing magazines, doing newspapers, I would stand in front of the mirror creating little TV shows and presenting and being like, oh, and you do this. And the irony is here I am doing that same thing. And so that was the kind of life I created. I was also really political, and I have felt myself being like, do I stand as a politician? And I have really considered this because I was very political when I was younger. And, and so there's part of me that is conflicted of, do I do that? But that's all the kind of, that's the things that you can create. If I decide I want to go for that, then at that moment it's like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get there? And I've not fully decided if I'm going to, but I would need to take certain steps and certain action to get there. In the same way that if you want to create a business or change your life, creating a business that fits around your family life or creating a business that gives you more freedom and financial freedom means that you can, you don't have to be chained to that 9 to 5, stuck at a desk and all of those things. You can actually get out, escape that. You can work from home. You could work from your favorite Mediterranean island or from the beach or whatever it may be. And you can create a life of your dreams. I am lucky enough that in my life now, I get to be with my son. I run every day. I travel. I go away, once every couple of months. I have little trips away. And I love that freedom and the possibility that it gives me. And so you can create those possibilities and those adventures that you want to for yourself. But the first step is to know what you want. And so if you don't know what you want, start figuring that out. Like, what is it that you really want? Really mull over that question. And the more you can put into that, like, just do it while you're cooking or while you're out for a walk or a run. And, what do I want? And it will come to you. If you're feeling stuck, then I have a couple of videos that may help you on, goal setting for the next 6 months. And also on creating that vision board, because when you start creating that vision board, the world opens up for you of the possibilities of what you really want in life. And it is so exciting and the potential is huge. If you like this video, I would love you to subscribe. Please click on the link below to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye bye.